Welcome everyone to our province-wide rounds. Thank you for joining. And this is a part of our continual efforts of reporting back to the community on the situation on our efforts of implementing our strategic plan and reporting what we have accomplished, what we have learned, and what are our plans for the next year. Today we have Dr. Cheryl Wellington, our Vice Chair of Research, and Dr. Nimmo, our Vice Chair of Clinical Education, to provide you updates on our strategic plan situation. Please go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay, I think Mike was scheduled to go first, but I don't see him yet on the call. So why don't I just, I don't think it really matters much who goes first. So I will share and get going. All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yes, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Thanks everyone for being here. I am really pleased to make this report for our research arm of our faculty. I would like to acknowledge that our departmental home is on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations, and we are so privileged to conduct our work on these lands. Going to start off by having the good news that UBC is maintaining its ranking across Canada, North America, and the world in the discipline of pathology. You see here for the 2025 rankings that UBC is ranked number 2 in Canada, 24th in North America, and 28th in the world, second only to U of T in other Canadian institutions. U of T and UBC both had exactly the same rankings last year, whereas the other institutions here, McGill and McMaster, both dropped a little bit, and University of Alberta moved up a little bit, but UBC is still really doing well in terms of our international recognition. Drawing some highlights from the 2024 annual report, our department received $26 million in research grants, which is a 15% increase since 2023. The data for 2024-2025 are still accumulating, or the 2025 is still accumulating, and we are just hoping that we can at least maintain what we have achieved in the last year. With respect to research personnel awards, we received $3.3 million distributed across chair positions, fellowship positions, and investigator positions. So this is fantastic progress. In terms of our outputs, we published over 640 publications, peer-reviewed, with high impact, with, as you can see here, compared to UBC overall, our department is really putting out a lot of very high impact papers with respect to citation, field-weighted citation impact, and in the top 10 citation percentiles. So again, we are doing really well in getting money in to do the research, publishing the research, and having it recognized as being highly impactful. Our top 10 lists are here. So this is the top 10 list for publications. So congratulations to all of the investigators, with special mention to David Huntsman, Sam Aparicio, and Torsten Nielsen, Ian McKenzie, for really being above 3 in their field-weighted citation impact, illustrating the profound influence they have on their research disciplines. This list is the top 10 for citations across the clinical faculty. And again, I congratulate all of these faculties for having such high impact papers over the last year. Special mentions, these are all faculty who receives some sort of awards or recognition for their contributions to research. These include Dr. Paul Sorensen, who's very high up in our list of highly impactful publications, and received the Doctors of BC Terry Fox Medal. He's had wide institutional impact through his leadership of the Academy for Translational Medicine and 3 IP disclosures, I think, in the last year alone. Dr. Mari DeMarco completed her Impact AD project that is looking at Alzheimer's disease biomarker testing. She is really internationally recognized as developing Canada's first diagnostic testing program for Alzheimer's at St. Paul's Hospital using a cerebrospinal fluid test, and she's undergoing new research initiatives on blood testing. So congratulations to Mari. Christian Steidl continues to lead spatial biomarker research on including a new method to predict treatment outcomes for patients with relapsed and refractory classical Hodgkin's lymphoma, and is recognized for his extensive impact and innovation across research and clinical streams. Dr. Hongling Lo led impactful research on encapsulating microRNA CVB3 in bioengineered exosomes for cancer treatment. And this, based on a promising preclinical work, the technology is moving toward clinical translation. And she was nominated in 2024 for a YWCA Woman of Distinction Award in Research in the category of the Sciences and Technology. So congratulations to Dr. Lowe. James Land was recognized for epitope-based matching program for kidney transplants through multi-institutional collaboration research program, with a very large $5.8 million award to him. Congratulations, Dr. Land. Ali Bashashati is, of course, just a superstar in the world of AI-powered cancer diagnostics research. And he is using deep learning to identify distinct subsets of endometrial cancer with a significantly higher rate of recurrence, using methods that have not been, it just really increases the sensitivity to detect these in pathological slides. So congratulations, Dr. Bashashati. Sam Aparicio continues to do just incredible work on single-cell genomics research, including identification of a type of cell that might be the origin for major breast cancer cell types. And I'll have another thank you to Dr. Aparicio coming up later in the presentation. But congratulations to him. Very recently, David Huntsman was awarded the 2025 Doctors of BC Terry Fox Medal in recognition of his national and international contributions to research, clinical practice, and education. Jay Kazakadathu is being noted for a brand new technology that enables kidney transplants to convert to a universal type O, potentially greatly increasing compatible organs available for transplantation. Patrick Tang was a new recipient of the Michael Smith Health Research BC Investigator Awards in this year. And he will research genomic methods to improve infectious disease diagnostics and patient care through precision clinical microbiology. And a very special mention to Corey Lowley, who's one of the co-founders of the Seed to STEM program. This has received the City of Vancouver Leadership Award in Reconciliation. This program, if you're not familiar with it, offers 6-week paid research internships to Indigenous high school students with wraparound supports that really enable and decrease barriers for Indigenous students to enter research and gain research experience. They have now placed 142 high school students in 112 research labs in UBC and beyond. And what is so remarkable is that 88% of these graduates have pursued post-secondary education, and most of these are in the STEM fields. So this is just an outstanding accomplishment over many years in collaboration with Cheryl Nymeth at the ICORD Institute. So these are just some of the highlights and special accomplishments of our faculty over the past year. Going on to where we are in accomplishing our strategic plan research pillar. Our mission is to create, translate, and implement knowledge across the research continuum to promote individual and population health. And this was really based on a triad of basing a clinical need, developing study design, biobanks, biomarker programs to enable interrogation, analysis, and then translation of the results back into clinical practice. The first goal we had was to strengthen clinically relevant research capacity and build connections between clinical and fundamental science programs. And this was done through recognizing our accomplishments, as I've just covered, and enable more communication about research through rounds, newsletters, etc. Also to create cross-discipline learning opportunities through seed grants and structured mentorship, and I will talk a little bit about more of this in a bit. And then data analytics is really coming along very, very well with new micro-credentials and courses in data analytics to strengthen access to achieve data literacy and the competency to use these approaches in analysis of patient data. Our second priority was to strategically strengthen the resources required for world-class research, and this include reducing barriers to access biobanks, and this is still very much in progress. But we're coming farther along the way to develop a blueprint for projects that involve biomarkers, whether they're imaging, fluid, or what have you, to improve our ability to extract better diagnostic prognostic data and move this into clinical practice. So I'll touch on this a little bit later as well. Over the last year, with our departmental rounds program that has been very successful, we held 19 research intensive presentations, and this covered the whole span of career stage from trainee to senior professor. So this has been a tremendously successful initiative to bring our department together and learn about each other's research. In terms of core facilities, this is one of the priorities that I have moving forward in the next year, is to really create the asset map of what cores we have and strengthen the connections across the core facilities that we do have. Probably the most famous in our department is called MapCore. This is the Molecular and Advanced Pathology Core led by David Huntsman, Julia Nasso, Torsten Nielsen, and David Schaefer. And this is just a phenomenally well-run service that provides comprehensive histology, histochemistry, imaging, and analysis services. And you can see here the list of equipment that MapCore has, and the cell dive infrastructure is really getting a lot of attention and use, and we hope to increase its use in the near future. A new one that will be open in 2026 is the core facility for neurology biomarker innovation. This is led by myself and Dr. Sophie Stukas. We are focused mainly on neurological fluid biomarkers, including cerebrospinal fluid and blood, but our suite of immunoanalyzers is very applicable to many other disciplines. And we will be opening in a new CFI-funded lab at UBC Hospital probably in the first quarter of 2026. We have a couple of mainly ultrasensitive immunoanalyzers, and I think based on a conference I was just at last week, the ability to then couple the pathological data with what could be the blood test to report on what we might be finding in cancers, for example, has tremendous potential. So I think it's going to be really interesting and important to work on what does this blueprint look like, and have other arms to feed discovery, candidate markers, into these pipelines, and then have the ways to develop, validate, and implement better diagnostic tools for multiple indications of interest to our department in the future. I'll move now to the second goal of our strategic plan, and that is to really understand better how to report on the metrics of success and understand what challenges our faculty have. So here, I will once again highlight the departmental research dashboard that was generated by Sneha Dagbar when she was here in the department, and has very, very kindly done the analysis of the latest data for us. So this department data goes through the UBC Office of Research Services to extract data going back 10 plus years so that we can understand not only the successful awards that are brought in, but the number of grants that were applied to. So we can better understand how much time on floor our academic faculty are spending on research applications and how successful we are being. So there's a lot of data that this dashboard can provide, including a snapshot of our success ratios. So in 2023, 25% of our grants were successful. That increase, we had a really good year in 2024 with 36 of our applications being successful. So far, the 2025 data, now note that this only goes up until August of this year, so this will change upon completion of the calendar year. It looks more close to the 2023 state. And so it really important to track our success rate in conjunction with funding opportunities or challenges to funding opportunities that we have in front of us. The top 10 faculty in getting research grants are listed here. Again, David Huntsman tops the charts, and many of our other, excuse me, influential faculty coming up in this chart as well. For these top 10 investigators, their success rate ranges from 23% to 90%. So I'd really like to call out Christian Steidel and Ali Carson for being very successful. Almost all of their grants that they submit are being funded. So I'll probably call on both of you to give some tips and tricks to the grant application program that we have running as well. We want to learn how you write grants so well that they almost all get funded. This is another metric that I think will be important to keep track of as the opportunities for global funding are in a state of rapid change in the past year or so. The bulk of our grants, of course, come from the Canadian Institutes of Health Research. We have lots of grants that come from various foundations and research institutes. We have some funding that comes from the US. This will likely be a little bit more challenging in the near future, but there is, excuse me, progress on a new way that NIH is going to be reviewing programs that have international collaborative programs associated with them. So again, the CIHR remains our most stable source of funding. And I certainly hope that the budget for CIHR research grants is not decreased in the years to come. This is where I want to spend some time because this is a very good success story. So what you're looking at here are the grant success by gender. So if you look at our academic faculty, in 2023, 20% of the awarded grants were from female investigators and 20% from male investigators and 29 for females. In 2024, again, then that ratio flipped a little bit, but in 2025, we're equalizing very much the success between male and female applicants. So this is very, very good. It's even more exceptional when you look at the clinical faculty. So in 2023, only 8% of successful grants were from female applicants, but by 2025, we are exactly equalized. So this is a tremendous accomplishment in ensuring that our clinical faculty are well represented in terms of their proportional success rates when they submit a research grant. So this is absolutely fantastic. So over the past 11 years of data, overall, the department hits about 22% of our grants get funded. And over the past 11 years, close to $300 million of competitive grant funding has been secured. So on this dashboard, we still need to find ways to make sure that we are sustaining input of data and enable non-ORS data for departmental faculty, especially members at the cancer institutes. And is there a way that we can capture research outputs? And then based on this, can we work more efficiently with the Faculty of Medicine Development Office and hospital foundations to increase our donor funding pool and raise the visibility of the impact that our research has on clinical practice? We'd also like to have more effective calls for increased federal funding and enable more grant mentorship and seed grant opportunities. So with respect to that, I'm very pleased to give the highlights of the pathology grant application practicum that completed its second year last year. This is a workshop-based practicum that covers all aspects of preparing and evaluating competitive research proposals. It's a 4-month virtual program that's open to anybody in the department, trainee, fellow, resident, faculty, especially faculty that might be new to the Canadian system or new to research. In 2024, we had 15 participants. In 2025, we had 18 participants, and we awarded 2 grants. And for the 2024 participants, both Dr. Enfield and Dr. Mohammed really highlighted that this program was very helpful for them to be successful at CIHR in their first grant applications. So the winners of the seed grant for the 2024 competition were Dr. Yasser Mohammed and Dr. Lan Fag, who's a student. And congratulations to both of these amazing young investigators. I'd also like to highlight the people that returned from the PJAC program if they won a grant to serve as a reviewer on our panel. And a big shout out to Sam Aparicio, who essentially helped review every single grant on the panel and provided outstanding feedback and comments during the review process. In 2025, we did attract 2 clinical assistant professors, one assistant professor on the academic stream, postdoctoral fellows, students, and staff. And some of the highlights here was that the inclusion of everybody across the career development spectrum was felt to be one of the major points of success of the program. So diversity and inclusiveness and transparency on how grants are reviewed is considered very, very good. And I also would like to say that I believe such a program and having experience in reviewing will make for better reviewers when people do sit on a panel at CIHR or other granting agencies. And so given the feedback, we've adjusted for 2026. The registration is open. So please do sign up if you or any of your lab members or colleagues might be interested. We will need to put a cap of 50 participants, but we're not even close to that with 18 from last year. But the registration link is now live, and I look forward to running the program again this year. It'll be Mondays, 8:30 to 10:30 via Zoom, and some sessions will be in person. So there are a couple big updates for everybody. One is that we're not certain what's going to happen with the CIHR budget this year, especially as the federal government is undergoing an expected austerity measure. So let's hope that the funding does remain stable. There's also new NIH guidelines on international collaborations. Early in 2025, NIH put a stop work order on grants that were held in the US but had a subcontract to Canadian or other foreign institutions. They've now released new guidelines, but I have yet to see a call for proposals where this new system will be conducted. In a nutshell, what's going to happen with NIH is that it's still possible to have international collaborations, but the grant must be held by a principal investigator in the United States. And then if the grant is reviewed positively, the budgets are going to be disaggregated so that the foreign, what used to be the subcontract investigator will now have their own grant that is linked to the parent grant. So we have yet to see how this unfolds, but if anybody is interested in discussing this more, please contact me. Happy to share what I know and what we're learning from NIH scientific officers with respect to this new mechanism. So looking ahead, we still have a lot to do. So in 2026, I still would like to emphasize the PJAP program as a really good entry point for clinicians new to research to get expertise and practice in writing a real grant. And so please come and attend if you can. The departmental website was updated last year, but I think we still have ways to go to put more core facility information within the department so that things are searchable, and that I really do want to work with core facilities, small and large, to understand better how we can create a cohesive whole for the entire department. And I would like to request that we have a session or two in the upcoming rounds to talk about our core facilities and how they might serve people within the department. As well, we are starting to build and discuss early stages of a consensus building approach to faculty renewal and succession, so that the process is transparent, inclusive, representative, and very nimble to opportunities that might come up. So stay tuned for further details about this, probably to be released in the next month or 2 months or so. So in terms of success, I think we're doing well by the metrics that we had highlighted to mark our progress. We're doing well in our research supports, our research successes, and celebrating the accomplishments of the research. We are certainly, I think, making good progress on having better integration of clinical and basic science research, and engaging our clinical faculty in more research projects as they would like to be. And really doing, I think, a good job in relaying some of the funding opportunities to support researchers or research that benefits marginalized and underrepresented groups, with the CIHR Ready program already having success within our program, our department. So that is the end of my presentation. I know I went through things very quickly, but I will make this slide deck available. So I'll send it to Donald for distribution if people would like to see. But just please reach out if you have any questions, concerns, great ideas, or would like to help move our research portfolio along. So with that, I will stop sharing.
Thank you, Cheryl, for your great leadership. A very nice presentation. And congratulations to all the successful research scientists of our department. We have the most accomplished scientists in the entire faculty of medicine in our department. We're so privileged. And we're living in a world that is rapidly evolving and rapidly changing and increasingly competitive. To just to keep where we are makes a huge effort. Otherwise, we'll be falling behind. Yeah. So we'll just thank you. Thanks everyone. Anyone has any questions or specific comments to Cheryl? Please. Well, thank you again for Cheryl. I believe you did a wonderful job. No clarifications, no questions. Certainly people can reach out to you by email, or if they want to contact anything related to the research. Maybe we'll give the podium to Mike.
Thanks so much, Gao. I'm having issues with my video. You can hear me though?
I can hear you, yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so you don't need to see me, but at least you can hear me. I think because I've been switching between Zoom and Teams or whatever. Anyways, I'm told that my video is not working. And apologies, Cheryl, if I was supposed to go first. I was actually here, and then you seem to be much more prepared than I am. So I thought, fine, I'll go. But it's always not good to go after you because you're so well prepared and you have so much information, research orientation. It's obviously you can provide data and stuff like that. So mine is much more sort of discussive, if you like. Anyways, I will now share my screen. Let's see here. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Looks good. Yeah. Maybe you can enlarge it a little bit.
Oh, yeah. How's that?
Not yet. Oh, yeah, it's good.
Good. I guess there's a bit of a time delay. So again, thank you very much for the opportunity to give you an update on the clinical education activities and the strategic plan initiatives that we've undertaken. The strategic priorities for clinical education, just to remind people, one of the issues we face in pathology is the appeal of pathology and laboratory medicine as a career to potential and current medical students. So I will discuss that. Very recently, we've been engaged with individuals from the Faculty of Medicine, and we're hoping to become or able to sort of change our curriculum a little bit and become more actively engaged in that. Also to proactively engage with potential employers to build educational programs and other initiatives that I'll go through. As far as strengthening the appeal of pathology, suggested approaches include trying to engage mentors. That has occurred. I think people have signed up to become mentors for medical students. Really appreciate those individuals who've signed up and are acting as mentors. What we're working on right now is to try and identify opportunities to promote pathology and Department of Medicine and the department with undergraduate students, both undergrad and medical students, and that's what I'll touch on shortly. Again, one of the ways we can interact with medical students is through flex projects. And those flex projects, for those that don't know, these are projects that medical students are engaged in throughout their medical career through years 1 through 4. And they are able to approach individuals and ask for, are you engaged in research project? Can I become involved in it? And I think that's quite successful for pathology. So engaging with potential employers, looking at residency and fellowship training, clinical fellowship, certificate programs, and pathology assistance, all of those I will touch on. And the other initiatives that we were looking at were to position the department as a pilot for obtaining compensation for clinical faculty and creating a repository of teaching resources. So that's what we were looking at before 2 or 3 years ago when I last gave an update. So let's talk now about what is actually going on and how we've succeeded with the medical students first, then the residents, certificate programs, and future directions. Trying to strengthen the appeal of pathology and lab medicine as a career is an ongoing issue. There are papers by Jason Ford and various others regarding how to engage or interest medical students in pathology as a career. Suggestions include videos, information sessions, attending events, fostering connections with special interest groups, and reaching out to learners. So, as I said, flex projects, shadowing, mentorship, etc., connecting with other institutions, and mentor those that are interested in pathology. I'm excited to say that Dr. Gao and I met with Joanna Gilmapel, who is the lead for the undergraduate curriculum. And the undergraduate curriculum is a spiral curriculum, and it's based on cases. So it's not the traditional, for those of you that went through medical school previously a long time ago, it's no longer, start off with normal histology, biochemistry, etc., and then go on to pathology, and then go on to clinical medicine. They start off right away with going into so-called cases. So one case for a week may be a breast mass. Another case may be something like osteoporosis. The problem with this approach is it doesn't afford the creation of standardized interactions for pathologists. And it's important to understand that we're not the only ones that face this. There is criticism from other specialties other than pathology who also are facing the same lack of contact with medical students. In addition, this concept of a spiral curriculum creates a lot of self-directed learning time. And self-directed learning time is sacrosanct. You are not allowed to remove that. There is a requirement in the educational program across the country, CACMs, that there be a certain amount of self-directed study time. And if you're trying to get more time, that cannot be touched. It is protected time for the medical students. So again, it's a 4-year program and it's a week case-based learning profile. We will be reviewing the pathology sessions, and it's very interesting. They are very actively engaged, and when I say they, I mean the undergrad medical program. They have mapped all of their educational activities, and mapped it to whether or not it involves pathology, surgery, oncology, etc. And they have provided us now with a spreadsheet outlining what interactions we have with those medical students. And that's going to provide us with an opportunity to review those sessions. Okay. So having looked at it, we're involved in lectures, small group sessions, histopathology sessions, CPCs, electives, summer student projects, shadowing. And as far as that's concerned, the issue with respect to, I'll go back one, with respect to trying to engage medical students, it's somewhat disappointing. And I know Cheryl sort of was talking, there are various adverse situations that are occurring throughout, for Cheryl, unfortunately, it's to do with actually obtaining research dollars and the change in the funding system, etc. For us, it's a change in the approach of medical students, and not necessarily medical students per se, but all younger generation, where it's not a tradition, attending classes is not necessarily their priority. They would prefer to have sessions taped, access those through Zoom recordings, whatever. And I'm sure everyone here knows that your best opportunity to engage medical students and to try and get them interested in pathology is to interact with them and demonstrate to them or make them understand that we're not down in the basement doing autopsies all the time, that we're actually, actively involved in patient care and the work we do. I mean, Cheryl's research.
Just heading to the.
Hello? Sorry, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, yes, we can. Just someone didn't unmute his phone.
Oh, okay. So my apologies. As I say, I can't see myself, and I thought maybe my microphone was stop working.
Yours is working fine. Thank you.
Good, good. My apologies. So again, the best opportunity is for them to actually see what it is we do. And what I didn't mention up here, there's an initiative being undertaken by one of our grad students under the supervision of Dr. Ionescu, and they are going to be looking at trying to improve the interaction of medical students. As an example, there are sessions in the afternoon, as I say here, so-called histopathology sessions. And those histopathology sessions, the medical students learn fairly early in medical school that they're not going to be examined on it, or it's not necessarily something that is relevant for their further practice as a physician. Let's say that. And sometimes you'll go out to those histopathology sessions, which for those that are on the line that have gone through medical school, that was the traditional, you'd go and have a microscope and you'd look at slides, etc. So that's no longer the mechanism. Now you look at the slides online, they're electronic images. And clearly that's not what we do as practitioners. It may be what we're going to be doing in a few years, and those histopathology sessions are actually only attended near the end of the year by 10, 15 students. And we're talking about a student class of about 288. So the Dr. Ionescu and the graduate student are going to be looking to try and change what goes on. The histopathology sessions are interesting because technically they are histology. And a couple of things. One, it's not just pathology. So prior to, for example, one of the histopathology sessions that's poorly attended, there's a talk by a gynae oncologist on endometrial cancer, key, very important for medical students to understand. And that attend the people in the class. There's probably 4 students actually physically in the class. Again, it's I understand I think Stephen Yip uses the expression pale, male, stale, and I add the expression increasingly frail. And apparently students would much prefer to have a Zoom recording that they can go through at their leisure and sort of go at a different speed, etc. So I hope that Dr. Ionescu and her graduate student are able to develop some sort of changes in the curriculum that will help to promote pathology. And one of their things that I think will be really very relevant is to try and get the medical students actively coming into the lab to see it is exactly what we do. And this has been tried in various formats, including bringing a specimen down to, from their surgery rotation and then identifying what exactly is going on. Other things, the education for the postgrad, etc., we have to adapt to the new technologies that are being advanced. That includes artificial intelligence, digital pathology, machine learning, etc. And as far as digital pathology is concerned, I'm pleased to say that we now have a digital scanner at Vancouver General Hospital. There's digital scanners at other sites as well, the Cancer Agency, Children's Hospital. And this is really important because, as the program director for Hemopath will tell you, not only are teaching being done by this, but in fact the exams at the Royal College. So that's one thing that we're doing, is adapting our education to meet those needs. We're trying to integrate clinical and research learning experience by creating a research database for residents to access projects, trying to create more individualized learning experiences, and that's across the residency training. As we switch to the CBD format, the training, you have to reach a certain competence, and it also provides for some ability after you've written your exam, so the exam occurs earlier. You can then trailer your training afterwards to sort of figure out what it is that or if you're going to a particular area, to train towards that. We're expanding the fellowship positions, and I'm going to talk about that. I'm also talking about the certificates program in clinical PhDs and the pathology assistant program. So the next, well, before I talk about the fellowships, teaching excellence, engaging clinical faculty. Dr. Gao and I have done site visits to the Island Health Authority and Interior Health Authority, and both of those went very well. We met with the clinical faculty there and are trying to ensure that clinical faculty in the distributed sites at these Interior Health, Vancouver Island, feel that they can become engaged in teaching. The lone site that we haven't visited yet would be the Northern Health Authority, and we hope to do that fairly shortly. In addition, Dr. Gao has initiated the appointment of academic leads at various sites, including Victoria, Kelowna, St. Paul's, the Cancer Agency, etc. And this is to try and better coordinate the individuals, the clinical faculty at those sites becoming involved in education. And this should enhance the awareness of teaching opportunities. As I say, we do now have a spreadsheet. It's quite a large spreadsheet of all the intersection we have as pathologists with the medical students. And we'll be reviewing that and identifying ways to try and maximize or involve as many people as we can. Okay. Other items, supporting research by clinical faculty. Again, kudos to Dr. Gao. One of the issues that was identified is to try and create opportunities for those that are very interested in research to have some opportunity to have protected time. And I'm pleased to say that 2 individuals have been identified for that funding. Gao, I'm not sure if I believe the third individual has been identified, but it hasn't been announced yet.
Lin Hao and Julia Nassau was a previous year. This year we had 3 announced. Yeah, one from St. Paul's, one from BC Cancer, one from BC CDC. So Lin Hao and Julia was the year before.
Yeah. And had the 3 for this year been announced yet?
Yeah, I announced, and if the candidates are finalized, I will announce on my last presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, this is a great initiative because it's very important for these young individuals to become involved and have protected time for research. And again, certainly last year's candidates, Dr. Hong and Dr. Nazo, have been extremely successful in their research. As far as the education programs for healthcare professionals, the programs that exist include the infection prevention and control course. There'll be some issues regarding the course and competition. As Gao says, everything is becoming much more competitive these days, and Queen's University offers a course that apparently has been more appealing in the past. So under the leads listed there, we're trying to revamp that. And my understanding, Genevieve, that's going live in January?
Yes, that's correct, Mike.
Exactly. So it has been revised and we're set to go live in January. So I'm really pleased to announce that. One of the issues that many of the people online will be interested in or are waiting to hear news about is the so-called pathology assistant program. What is the pathology assistant program? Anatomic pathologists grow specimens, and the pathology assistant program allows individuals who are not pathologists to grow specimens for them, meaning they're allowed to look at the specimens, sample the specimens, and submit the sections or the blocks themselves. So it's what's known as a delegated medical task. And currently, there's a tremendous demand for pathology assistants at all the major sites, and there are very few pathology assistants. The programs that currently produce pathology assistants, most will know that there's one in Calgary, but there's others within the country and also in the United States. So we want to create our own pathology assistant program, but talking about issues right now, the major issue facing the government is the strike by the BCGEU. There are tremendous restraints on resources. And unfortunately, I believe this is currently low on their priority list. We are hoping to sort of push it, but I think until those issues get resolved, those issues that are facing the government right now, I think this will not have any resolution as far as the funding is concerned. The other two, or the other area, are clinical PhD fellowships. As people may be aware, we have PhDs who do clinical work, and they're an extremely valuable and extremely productive group of individuals. But they, again, get trained through these programs, and none of those programs exist in Vancouver or in British Columbia. And we are looking to get those involved in creating these programs. But it's a difficult situation because we have few of these individuals, and therefore we can't really, it's difficult to get them time to train new people. So that's one of the issues that we're facing, is the resource issue for that. Okay. I was just looking for the fellowship, but I know where I put the fellowship thing. So turning now to postgrad education, the residency training programs are doing very well, except for the general pathology program, and that's all my fault because I'm the program director for general pathology. So let's just go briefly through those. Anatomic pathology program, and I'm providing this mainly for information. Dr. John Bush is the current program director. It's doing extremely well. All the positions are filled. Candidates are successful on their exams. Hematopathology, I just want to make people aware that Dr. Krista Marcon is the new program director for hematopathology. Welcome to Krista. She'll do a fantastic job, and thanks to Dr. Kate Chipperfield. Again, positions are filled and the candidates are doing very successful on their exams. And very important for us because, in fact, recent graduates are hired by us. And I'm pleased to announce that some of these recent graduates are actually going to be working at local sites. Medical biochemistry, thank you to Dr. Andre Mapman. The issue for medical biochemistry right now is whether or not they are going to be able to have direct entry. And there may be an update on that, I'm not sure. Medical microbiology, again, welcome to Dr. Michael Payne, who's taking over from Dr. Christopher Lowe. Christopher Lowe did a fantastic job. Pleased to note that he will be continuing on with the program, but sort of in charge of the fellowships. Neuropathology, Dr. Ian McKenzie. They have a candidate right now who'll be sitting their exams in PGY5, and they currently have candidates in PGY2 and PGY1. Transfusion Medicine Fellowship Program Director, Eunice has taken over from Dr. Andrew Shee before. Currently, there's 3 fellows in the program. Dr. Anna Lee currently has 1 fellow in the Pediatric Pathology Fellowship Program. And that leads me into what I was going to talk about, which is fellowships. One of the things that was or is being pushed is the creation of fellowships. The Transfusion Medicine Fellowship and the Pediatric Pathology Fellowship are actually Royal College recognized. So it's not a 5-year program, it's a 2-year, they are 2-year programs, but it is recognized by the Royal College. But one of the things that was identified was trying to provide additional training to our various residents once they finished in either anatomic pathology, med micro, whatever. and these are not recognized by the Royal College. This has expanded gangbusters. I'm pleased to say we have multiple sites, multiple disciplines offering fellowships. Again, not just pathology, but all areas of medicine have seen an increase in fellowships. And given this, the postgrad dean's office has decided to increase their oversight. That's because of that, we've appointed a so-called director of fellowships, that's Dr. Ionescu, and we are very pleased to have support from Lisa Scully. And under their direction, we now have a website that's created listing for these fellowships. This enables us to coordinate the timing and availability. We don't want to, we can be the victim of our own success, and we have too many fellows at one site. It's very important that there be no impact, no negative impact on residency training, and that there be appropriate space and resources. So again, the fellowships that I'm talking about here are those not recognized by the Royal College. Okay. What are the common issues that face the sites, and whether it's undergraduate medical or postgrad? It's participation of the educators and the learners. What we're focusing on right now is trying to rejuvenate our existing programs, and especially right now, the undergraduate medical program, because that is going to be the source of our future pathologists. As far as supporting educators, as I say, the initiative by Dr. Gao to obtain funding for clinical research is fantastic. Thanks to everyone here for offering to be mentors. Again, clinical awards, recognition, providing opportunities to teach, support for learners, trying to encourage them to do fellowships, work at different sites, so that it will be an opportunity for them to work with individuals and then maybe possibly get hired at that site. Issues, resources. As I say, right now, given the adverse conditions within British Columbia, financial constraints, strikes, etc., we can't move anything if we don't have support from the individuals that are going to be funding it or meeting with us. So we're waiting. Recruitment and staying current. These are the things that we have to focus on. And as was mentioned, I believe, by Gao in his summary for Cheryl, things are rapidly advancing in health sciences, and particularly in pathology. It's key, it really is key that we ensure that pathology remains relevant. And in my opinion, what's that mean? Molecular pathology, right? Artificial intelligence, machine learning, digital pathology, bioinformatics, big data, translational pathology, quality. And again, that was very nicely highlighted by Cheryl in her presentation, MapCore, etc. And I think it is key that we continue to support this intersection between the research area and those that are involved in clinical practice. And that's basically my presentation. Questions?
Mike, that was a fabulous presentation. I'm wondering whether or not it would be helpful, like in the kind of raising the profile of what pathologists do, to to have people submit like media, YouTubes, and this sort of thing, highlighting our success and what we're doing, especially in partnership with with clinicians and clinical teams. And from there, like have kind of like a KT montage. This is pathology in 2026 kind of thing. It's much more than and just highlighting how we are driving innovations and creating better tools that clinicians are going to use to make decisions on. It might be like a fun project for like a KT kind of thing, but I'm open to thoughts on that part of it.
Cheryl, I think that's a fantastic idea. And I think Gal suggested too, like a video or something. But I think, yeah, I think the problem is, honestly, Cheryl, medical students and a lot of people have no clue what we do. Like nothing.
Yeah.
And they literally think that we're in the basement doing autopsies, and it's like, it couldn't be further from the truth. And I agree with you. I think what we do is extremely exciting, and it is tremendously important to healthcare. And, it is the future of healthcare. Anyways, but yeah, no, happy if other people think the same as Cheryl.
Yeah, I saw Anna's put in quite a few comments. Maybe Anna can talk. Can you talk, Anna?
Oh, hi. Yeah, I just got interviewed for a podcast. Not just got interviewed, it's been about a year or two, about why I chose pediatric pathology as a career. And it's kind of gotten low playback, but the other day somebody just cold called me, just emailed and said, I heard your podcast and I have so many questions. Can we chat? Basically, that was the summary. So I'm gonna take them out for coffee and see if I can get them more interested. It's kind of cool.
That's great, Anna. And again, I mean, I, jokingly saying that I'm pale, male, and stale, but yeah, social media, that kind of stuff. But youngsters like you are much better at handling that kind of stuff. So again, I think, and that's how students interact now. It's it is no longer the situation where they are necessarily going to be attending in class.
Yeah, I want to actually use this opportunity to thank you, Mike, for your actually forward-thinking and very practical leadership. If people can see that, you can dive into the problems immediately in your first slide. So yeah, so your practical forward-thinking and leadership is greatly appreciated. And we'll also use our opportunity to thank everyone. We have lots of educational leaders, program directors, associate program directors, site educational leads, and everyone that, it was you who actually put our educational enterprise into very top place across the country and in the world. And I agree that we need to recognize outside and to make sure that we communicate well and advocate ourselves well. But at the same time, I promise, I'm looking at how to better recognize our teaching efforts within the department, particularly those clinicians who get out from the, in addition to teaching resident while working with the patient material and get out from the clinical lab and doing lectures from bachelor's medical laboratory sciences or graduate programs. It takes a huge effort. And I'm looking at how to better recognize you guys and from the departmental point of view. If you have any suggestions, please email me. Yeah, thank you.
And Gal, just before, I guess there's a couple of comments in the chat room. So great present from Ellen, great presentation, Cheryl. Thank you for continuing the impactful PGAP program. Oh, Cheryl saw that. Okay. And Dr. Loudon, Lonnie was saying fond memories of Dr. Val, who used to teach histology out at UBC. Dr. Cote, Ellen wanted to confirm just so people know, the grad student is Tetiana Povshedna, and I wasn't sure if I should put her name in there just because if I'm allowed to mention grad students by name, but it is Tetiana Povshedna. Dr. Annalee, if only 10 to 15 students attend in person, can we focus on attracting them to pathology since they presumably came because they are interested? Again, that is a good point, Anna. I think it depends on the students. So some students I think are more traditional and actually like to come to class and feel that it's a professional thing to do. Tetiana is responding to that, and again, those were the days. Dr. Oval, I remember him, and he taught Lonnie's father a generation earlier as well. That's impressive. Okay, New Path 200 course. Oh yeah, so Dr. Cote wants to mention that there is a New Path 200 course coming in 2026 that should hopefully increase exposure to our discipline. Annalee has already mentioned the podcast, and let's see. And Lonnie was saying, and Lonnie is in the interior, that she's had some very enthusiastic students showing up at the career planning cafes. Encourage more of those people to sign up to host those. So thank you very much, everyone, for your listening to me. Gal, back to you, or Cheryl.
Well, I want to thank everyone I thank both of you for the excellent presentation and for your great leadership, both of you. Thank everyone for attending. So we will continue working on implementing a strategic plan and stay tuned for next year's report. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.